And welcome back to Stories from the River. This is Charlie Maloof, host of the podcast. And we're just going to mix it up a little bit today. We're just finishing up our Elevate Summit series. We're into our 40-day climb to the top. We're in our fiscal November. We just had an RX meeting, which we shortened for, it's a prescriptive way to win the month. It's a prescription for the upcoming month, if you will. But RX in this context stands for Retail Excellence. How can we be excellent? What does it mean to be excellent? So we brought all of our general managers in person into the mill. We shortened Fort Mill call it the mill yesterday for a full day of just immersion and being in the learning zone.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
And one of the things we go over with all of our leaders when we bring them in is we go through purpose, vision, mission, values, core values, if you will, and even our customer belief system. So today, just a quick little episode on core values. Before I get going, a refresher is that our purpose statement, which we've talked about on this podcast, is furnishing life's best memories. We launched the purpose statement in August of 2018, and then we had our year of purpose in 2019. Preceding our purpose statement, we came up with our vision statement as an organization. We've refined that a little bit over the years as the brand has gone through some innovations. Our vision is to be the premier Ashley store operator. Not just licensee, because there are enterprise stores and not just Ashley Home Store, it's Ashley Store now. So to be the premier Ashley operator, if you will. And that was launched in August of 2017. And then our word of the year in 2018, following that launch, was to premier. 2018 was to be premier, our premier year, and unpack what that word meant. And prior to coming up with our vision and our purpose statement, we had our mission statement and our core values. Our mission statement to be an excellent home furnishings, initially it was called company, and we've refined that to be an excellent home furnishings retailer. That kind of went along with when we transformed our company name from Broad River Furniture to Broad River Retail. And this was during 2017. The retail apocalypse was like going around, and we said we're going to run too quickly to the fight. We're going to put retail in our name and be a little bit counterculture. So we launched. We had our mission statement. We tweaked it to be an excellent home furnishings retailer. And excellent is just those habits, what we repeatedly do. And just to put this into perspective, we would say the purpose is our organizational why we do what we do. That comes from, really the heart of the business. And then if you look at the brain of the business, or the strategy and the tactics, we would say the vision is like the GPS coordinates, where we're directionally going, or who, from an identity perspective, we want to become in the future. And it's aspirational. Like we don't really think that we're ever premier. We just aspire to be premier. It also acknowledges the greatness of all the other Ashley store operators and licensees who we know and have the privilege of working with. And then the mission would be what we repeatedly do. But we haven't spent a lot of time talking about how we achieve the mission. And so that would be how we act and behave, which would be our core values. And so another thing about core values is guiding principles. And so I just want to kind of read them, make sure I get them all. So we have 5 core values. They are integrity, personal excellence, customer satisfaction, collaboration, and then innovation. And I'll unpack each of those. So integrity, guided by Christian principles. We are ethical, responsible, fair, and truthful. We maintain the highest standards of personal and professional conduct. So having integrity, giving our best, being fair, truthful, honest, that's just table stakes really. And it's really important to us to be responsible, to be good stewards of the business and of our own potential. And so to hold ourselves to really high standards, and just from, as faith-driven leaders, we're going to be guided by, we want to disclose that we're going to be guided by Christian principles. That doesn't mean that we don't accept and embrace all principles in any background or religious or ethnic background, because we do. We welcome them all. We're just saying how we are guided by. And that's from our faith-driven ownership perspective. Okay, and then the second one, personal excellence. We maximize our own potential through continual self-improvement and accountability. So we're going to kind of pursue that spirit of always learning, of always wanting to grow, of trying to get 1% better each and every day, of comparing ourselves not to others, but to ourselves and to our own potential, to unlock what Adam Grant would call, with his newly published book, hidden potential. A lot of people have talked about potential. And so we're so we're driven to go achieve our potential. I really like the way Ed Milet says it, that at the end of his life, he thinks he's going to see another person in heaven next to at the gates, and that's going to be the person he could have become, and he wants to be as close to that person he could have become as possible. So we have amazing potential. We believe everyone has amazing potential, and how do we go optimize and become our best version of ourselves? And so that's what personal excellence is all about. It's holding ourselves accountable to deliver and to act up to our own elevated standards of behavior, and accountability to be accountable to others and to ourselves. So that's integrity and personal excellence. And by the way, we call them core values. I've also heard them called guiding principles. We have 5. Some people have 10, some people have 8, some people have 2 or 3. But I'm just trying to, this is going to be what we're going to lean on how we act and behave to support the mission, which supports the vision, which connects to the purpose. And then the third one is customer satisfaction. We focus on our customers' needs and strive to exceed their expectations. So this is like that customer delight or that customer experience vernacular or core value. We're in the retail business. We're in the business. We're a B2C business to consumer. And so, we'll grow as well as we take care of our guests or our customers in this context. And it's called customer satisfaction. And we've had a lot of internal debate, and quite frankly, we have a project on the table to revisit the wording of that. A simple change might be to change it to customer delight or customer experience. But we want to go through the process and really unpack, is that the right phrasing, the right wording? And are we willing to do that? Well, when I go through the next one, you'll maybe understand why we're willing to do that. So the next one is collaboration. And we make better decisions when we make them together with humility. We recognize each other's value and work together in a respectful manner. So, we embrace diversity of thought, freedom of expression, and we want all those different opinions at the table. We want to be open for business, not closed off for business, not siloed. And we always want to have this go and see mantra and listen and learn kind of mindset and approach. And that's how we think about it. This core value originally was named teamwork, and it sounded really good, right? Teamwork is a core value. The problem that we discovered is that we had certain leaders who were no longer with us at the time really became territorial around their team and said, hey, they put up the Heisman to other leaders. You can't talk to so-and-so. That person, he or she's on my team. That's my team. My team's got it. My team's going to do this. And we're like, wait a second. We're not into this whole putting up walls and borders and my team versus your team. And so to remind ourselves to take down those barriers. And at times any company and organization has to work through things like this, and those are internal things that we have to go through. We just said a better word is collaboration. We're going to be open. We're going to be collaborative. We're not going to make decisions in a silo. We're going to make better decisions when we get more input and when we make them together and with a humble spirit, with a humble heart, with humility, right? Take the ego out of the room. And then once the decision's made and we understand how we're going to go about the democratic process to make the decision, or if someone's responsible for making the decision with the inputs, even if we disagree, we're going to disagree and commit. We're going to go out and we're going to disagree and commit, because you have to commit to the decision once it's made. But we do want to embrace collaboration. We do want all opinions. And sometimes, by the way, earn the right to have the opinion. If you've been here one day versus someone who's been here 10 years, maybe the person who's been here 10 years has earned the right to kind of have their voice heard. And that's a meritocratic process. And so all opinions are valued. But if you've got the experience and, you've been here a little bit, the tribal knowledge, the intrinsic knowledge, we really want to know what you have to say because you've earned your stripes, so to speak. Okay, so that's integrity, personal excellence, customer satisfaction, collaboration, and then innovation. So you think innovation from a retail furniture company? Yeah, actually, it is, and it's not just technology innovation. I'll read this one to you. We embrace change for the better. So that's having a CANI, constant and never-ending improvement mindset. So we embrace change for the better through improved processes and technology. We seek efficiency. So we want to always look to reinvent our processes. Never be married to the one way of doing something, or like we're always going to do that because that's the way we've always done it. Now, if you have a process that works, you need to implement the process, but always be open to refining it and retweaking it and retooling it. During the Elevate Summit, we just introduced a purposeful reapproach, and we just changed our selling process for sleep. We switched a couple of things around. So we're always open to changing the process, but we are going to be process driven. And then technology, we constantly want to invest in technology. We want to be almost seen as a technology-driven company. My background is actually from the technology space many, many moons ago. And so we just think that all companies have to be technology companies in this day and age. And so we better make sure that we're going to embrace changes, whether that's in processes or that's in technology. So those are our current 5 core values that guide how we act and behave. They're kind of our principles, if you will. We do want to go through as a team and think about, like, are those all of the ones that make sense? Are there others that are out there? And there might be others on the board because some of those were laid out many years ago with different leaders that we don't have today. And so, I think about our DNA as a company and who we are. And I really think about grit. We've got a lot of grit. And I think that would be a great thing to consider. I think about a positive attitude or passion, like do something with passion. Because, only great things, only excellence comes with passion. That's a word that really bubbles to the top for me. When we talk about personal excellence, I think of that as high standards, and like have really high standards for yourself, for others on your team, and for ourselves as a company. And so I think of high standards as one. If I go down the list of like things that kind of I think about that kind of help guide our decision-making, it's living within our harvest, not getting out over our skis, being long-term planners and thinkers, being patient. Curiosity is a great one. Yeah, I love how Mark Batterson says, he embraces Albert Einstein's, never lose a holy curiosity. Have a bias for action, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. So don't be complacent. Don't be just sitting still. Have a bias for action as opposed to complacency. Another one I talk about is disciplined thought, disciplined action. And one we like to talk about is we are a for-profit business. So profit is oxygen, and we need oxygen to breathe. And so we've got to be a profitable endeavor. We're not a nonprofit entity, and that forms a lot of the ways that we think about business, and profitable for the long term, like taking care of our customers for the long term, having pricing models that make sense and promotions that make sense that are long-term, responsible, and sustainable. Another one is just, it goes along with grit, but hustle, effort, doing one's best, giving one's best, being process-based. We talked about that. Systemization. I love how Jason Jennings used to say, systematize everything, have processes for everything. James Clear talks about, no one rises to the occasion. They fall back to their systems. And so have good systems in place. And systems and standards and goals kind of can pair well together. Talked about personal excellence. I think personal responsibility and accountability are good. And preparation. Nobody plans to fail. They just fail to plan. And these are a few other ones. I mean, just from notes that I've got. I won't go through all of them. But being generous, hospitable, intentional, sharing of gifts, of knowledge, of our blessings, being flexible, adaptable, resilient. We see resilience show up all the time, and we've got to be adaptable in our work and being empathetic, understanding, and human. We're human beings, not human doings. And then always kind of making sure that we send the elevator back down. If we've had some success, have a generous heart, pay it forward, give back, and look after others within our company, within our families, within our communities, within our networks and others who we come in contact with. Being competitive and goal-oriented and healthy, balanced, and having fun are all important as well. So We'll probably go through as an organization a revisit like we need to do at various times. We've got a great leadership team right now that's gelling and hitting on all cylinders, but it's probably time for this team to say, hey, let's look at our core values. Are they serving our team well? And what do we want do they represent what we need right now and for the next short-term, midterm, long-term, for the next 5-10 years? And so we've had these core values pretty much in place for the last, I think, 8 to 10, maybe 12 years or so. And so they've served us incredibly well, but with integrity, personal excellence, customer satisfaction, collaboration, which was formerly teamwork, and innovation, they've served us well, but are they the right ones to take us into the future? Those are the questions we're going to ask ourselves, and hopefully we'll come back here and tell you where we land after we go through this process. We've been putting it off for a few years, but we've had some other initiatives, so we might make this a 2024 project and initiatives as we look inward and look how we continue to innovate and get better as an organization. So that's a little bit on Broad River Retail's core values and how they pair with our guiding principles or core values, how they pair with our mission, our vision, and our purpose. Thanks for dialing in. This has just been a solo episode from the river here on Stories from the River. Thanks for dialing in every Tuesday and Thursday as we try to bring you fresh new content every week. You can get us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.